Hello out there, wherever you are. As for me, what's that time again? The December 2023 edition of Steel City Con. And man, oh man, Steel City Con has put together, and I honestly, probably the most stacked card they've ever had. And, you know, I appreciate Steel City Con for putting on a stacked card. And Steel City Con has afforded me a ton of experiences. But man, why they would think to put on the most stacked of stacked cards in December, a few weeks before Christmas 2023. Because honestly, you know, if I had the money, I would meet almost everybody on the card. But unfortunately, when I went to go, they were doing the deadline for discount tickets. I looked and the 3-day passes were already sold out. So I decided to get Saturday tickets, foolishly, I think, because I didn't want to put my eggs in one basket for Sunday, only to find out that Saturday is now sold out. This doesn't feel like it's going to be an enjoyable experience. You know what it feels like? It feels like what Black Friday used to be when your kid wanted the most popular toy. I'm preparing for battle. I'm just hoping they allow us in the building, because this building has been known to be shut down because of capacity issues. So, I have some targets. I only have one photo op scheduled. It's with Kiefer Sutherland. It's at 1:30. Beyond that, there are people I want to get, but at this point, I don't know if I'll be able to get any of them. And I notice a lot of people are inquiring about like videos and stuff like that. So I really want to get somebody to do an intro for me. So let's go step inside Steel City Con for December 2023. And you'll know right here if I failed to get somebody to do an intro, because if I do, you'll see Danny Trejo. But if I succeeded, you'll see whoever that is, or more people. But let's get into it. Steel City Con December 2023, and Tom was here.
Patrick Fabian, and you're watching Tomwashere.
Hey, I'm Carlo Esposito. I'm watching Tom Was Here.
Quick assessment for a Saturday, for a sold-out Saturday. I expected far worse. It's not too busy in here at all. Like I've seen this room at capacity, and it's nowhere near that. Now, it could be because they have the Christmas Story cast and the Screamcast over at the hotel. I have not been over to the hotel to check that out, but this main room with a lot of good people in it, surprisingly light, and I'll take it.
Hey, I'm Carlo Esposito. I'm watching Tom Was Here.
Okay, so the first stop of the day was to Giancarlo Esposito, who of course is Gustavo Fring from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. He's in The Usual Suspects, bunch of different movies he's been in. Mandalorian, I think he's in currently. The Boys, he's in The Boys as well. This last season, I think the last season. So I'm determined now, because I saw it on the I saw it on Kiefer Sutherland's line, a few other lines, that it says, like Matthew Lillard's line, it says like no video shout outs, or no no video, anything like that. So, normally, and I've tried to do this for the last few cons and was never able to get it to work, decided I was going to really put forth an effort to get people to do a Tom Was Here intro. Started with Giancarlo, and admittedly, I think he was a little perturbed. I think I pissed him off a little bit, but he's a pro. The man's a pro. He's like... He looked at the line and he's like, all right, what do you want? And was kind enough to do the intro. But, you know, like I said, the man's a pro. He also had a thing called Double or Nothing. He canceled last time. And because of that, you were able to get 2 photos, 2 8x10s for the price of 1. So we decided to do his combo, and my son here got his Breaking Bad, and I got his Better Call Saul, which he's the same character anyway. I was hoping there'd be more of a selection as far as photos at his table, but happy with those ones. The only downside is they are vertical. I'm actually doing something in my office where I need horizontal ones. Didn't really work out here, unfortunately. But cool to get those. Like I said, Giancarlo was very kind to do an intro, even though I pissed him off a little bit, just a little bit. But intros in the can. I'm up to 3 separate intros now, and probably more if I really wanted to split up the ins or cons stuff, but anywho. But that wasn't done there.
Hey, I'm Patrick Fabian, and you're watching Tomwashere.
Our second stop was Patrick Fabian. Patrick Fabian, who is in Better Call Saul as Howard Hamlin, who was terrific, by the way, as Howard Hamlin. We know that people like the legacy characters of Gus and Mike from Breaking Bad were terrific in Better Call Saul. But as a newer character, it was slightly harder into that world. And Howard Hamlin was the perfect kind of, what's the word? The foil for... Jimmy McGill, the one that he always tried to get him. He could never catch him in anything. He was always slipping Jimmy. He would always find a way out of it. But we talked a lot. I talked probably the most I talked to any celebrity maybe ever was Patrick Fabian. That dude can talk. He was born and raised in Pittsburgh, so we were talking Steelers. He was at the Steeler game Thursday, and funny thing, when I was talking to him, I was like, I was going to call it a debacle, and he called it a debacle. That's what that Steeler game was. It was a debacle. It was terrible. But talked with him for a long time about that. And I also did ask him in Better Call Saul, and I don't want to spoil it for you, so if you haven't seen Better Call Saul and are interested in watching it, maybe tune out or go past this part. But I wondered if he was informed of Howard's fate at the beginning of the show, or, prior to. He's like, no. He's like, we got it at the table read. And he's like, we did the table read, and then we did the scene. He's like, and then I went home, and he's like, you know what they all did the next day? They went back to work. I couldn't. And I was like, yeah, I never thought of it like that. But cool guy, fun, awesome guy to talk to. I strongly suggest that if you liked Better Call Saul and Patrick Fabian is at a future con, chat that dude up. Like, he's cool. He was kind enough to do an intro for us as well. So already ton of intros, far more than I got at any other con. So thrilled, very kind, for both Giancarlo Esposito and Patrick Fabian to do an intro for me. But the other thing with Patrick Fabian, I forgot to mention, this is a cool idea. More people need to do this, to be honest with you. Smart, cool idea. I don't know if he gets them printed himself or with a company or whatever, but I was looking at his price list, and I saw that he had the Namaste license plate that Howard Hamlin had in Better Call Saul, and man, was that tempting. I really thought it through for a good bit, but there was quite a few people I wanted to get, and my son talked me out of it, and I was like, should have got that. But the cool thing he did have, he was selling Hamlin, and McGill pens. And I love a good pen. $3. This is like, you're talking about like gift shop novelty. It's not like some like world beating pen by any stretch, but by Howard Hamlin himself, a Hamlin McGill pen in a nice little like velvet pouch too. Good for him. I love stuff like that. I love when people are creative with stuff at their booth. I do remember back to the girl that played April O'Neil, who had the sketch that she drew in Turtles. Such a smart, inspired idea. So that was awesome. So yeah, I was $3. I was like, yeah, I should have bought a few of them, to be honest. You could have bought like 4 for $10, and I should have got that, and I should have got other people that I know that are Better Call Saul fans. I should have got that for them, because that is an inspired prop that you can get at a table for a very reasonable price. So Patrick Fabian knocked it out of the park on this one. You see him in another con, chat that dude up. Dude's awesome. This is the line for Kiefer Sutherland for photo ops. It's way outside of the tent here, but luckily it's an incredibly nice day in December on a Saturday. It could easily be snowing really badly, but I'll take this. This works just fine because it's super warm in that convention center.
The following takes place between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m.
Okay, so the way we timed it actually was perfect, because we went from Giancarlo's line to then Patrick Fabian's line, and Patrick Fabian's line wasn't super long, but he was chatting up with people. He was giving like a good bit of time to people. So it fit perfectly because we only had one photo op scheduled, and it was with Kiefer Sutherland, Special Agent Jack Bauer. I love 24. I've always been a big fan of 24. I think a girlfriend or somebody bought it for me the first season, and I was like, and they were like, oh, you always said you wanted to watch it. I'm like, yeah, but man, I put that on the night before I was supposed to go to school the next day, and I faked an illness. I stayed up from about 10 p.m. in bed to about 4 a.m. I was sucked into 24 the first season, and I watched all of it, man. I binged all the way through, got caught up, and then watched for its entire run. 24 is great. But also, you know, I mean, he's in Lost Boys, he's in Rabbit Hole, that's great on Paramount Plus, great show. He's in Time to Kill, he's in A Few Good Men. I mean, Kiefer's Flatliners. Kiefer has had a hell of a career. So it was very cool to get a photo op with him. He was very friendly and personable in line. With photo ops, it's kind of weird how certain people will, you know, like sometimes it's just real quick. They're just boot pose, and you're on your way. They don't say one word to you, or they'll just say thanks. You know, thanks. You know, nice to meet you. Keep very personable, shaking everybody's hand. So nice to meet you. You know, like, so that's all you can ask for in someone. So I would have got an autograph of him, but I actually got an autograph out of a mystery box recently, like within the past week or so, of a cool giant 24 poster that is now hanging on my office wall. So thrilled to have met Kiefer. I've been a fan for such a long time. Okay, so then I was kind of riding high because I was like, man, I already got Carlo to do an intro, and he was cool. Got Patrick Fabian to do an intro, and he was cool. Met Kiefer. The Saturday's going unexpectedly well. I mean, I expected chaos. I expected madness. It was supposedly sold out. It didn't feel nearly as busy as it had at previous cons, which is great. There was space to walk around. You were able to roam around a little bit, and it was cool to see when you were roaming around because you saw interesting things in the wild. Like Alec Baldwin, for example, was walking around, and I give kudos to him for this. That dude has had an amazing career. He's walking around, he's chatting people up with babies. He's chatting up, other people in line, personable guy. I would have loved to have met Alec Baldwin. But I had looked into, Etsy had a ABC canvas print from Glengarry Glen Ross. And look, I work in sales. I was ready to bite the bullet and like, how much is it to get Alec Baldwin on a giant Glengarry Glen Ross ABC canvas? And then his prices came out and it was like $200. I'm like, it's right before Christmas time. I just can't do it. Can't do it. It's the same reason why I didn't get the Scream cast. They had the whole cast of Scream. Everybody but Courtney Cox, basically. Everybody was accounted for. And the price is just too much. And also, I will say the other thing is the prices are just so high now. Before, you used to be able to go to this con and, man, you used to be able to get like 4 or 5 people. You'd bring, a couple $100 and you'd get 4 or 5 people autographs and photos sometimes for that price. Now $200 might get you two with a combo. That's lucky. Depending on who it is, you might be able to play your cards right, where someone's combo is 120, someone's combo is 80, and there's your $200 versus, I remember paying $80 for like Adam West way back in the day, and I was like, wow, this is the most expensive signature ever. And now damn near everybody is that right, especially someone that's like a headliner of note. You're paying somewhere in the $80 to $100 range, which is crazy. Okay, so I had one other person that was on. There were a few other people on there, but one, I actually did my usual thing that I do, which is I go on Etsy and I was like, is there a cool prop for someone to sign? And then I was looking through on Etsy, and I found the Holy Hand Grenade. The Holy Hand Grenade from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and John Cleese was there, and I was like, man, wouldn't it be cool for an original member, a founding member of Monty Python to sign the Holy Hand Grenade? I didn't think this through entirely. So I did get the Holy Hand Grenade kind of signed. This is from Etsy, and it is the Holy Hand Grenade, but I had him sign the box here. The way I was going to display it, actually, was display it like that. So you can kind of see it, the signature back there. I mean, I think that's the way to go. If you look, I think you can see it on here. Look how, like, bumpy that is. Plus, his signature is pretty large. So he did sign the box versus signing the Holy Hand Grenade itself. So it would have been cool if it was smoother and able for him to be signed more. But they were not surprised by this. So clearly I was not the only person that had a Holy Hand Grenade for him to sign. And then they, of course, in the thing has the scroll where it's like, and Jesus said, bless thy Holy Hand Grenade. It's the entire speech that they had. Or I can't remember exactly how it goes, but yeah, it's the entire speech here. Now the funny thing was I was going to cut this down to size and put this exactly where he signed, but instead it's going to be in the box here somewhere, and the signature will be displayed prominently. But it does have, and I can't, yeah, it does have. You can remove the pin. Make sure to count to 5, Theresa, and count to 3. But yeah, it then is solid there. But yeah, the Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch. Very cool to meet the incredible John Cleese. Loved those movies. Loved Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Loved Life of Brian. Loved And Now for Something Completely Different. And even just some of the stuff like A Fish Called Wanda. He took over for Q in the Pierce Brosnan Bond films as the weapons expert. That dude has had an incredible career and been in so much stuff. So very cool to meet a legend in John Cleese. See the Scream room here. Matthew Lillard, they said his line was already capped off, which is insane. It's packed over there. Is it all Five Nights at Freddy's? Maybe somebody can let me know in the comments. Okay, so really one other person that I was like, all right, I must get this person. And, you know, I didn't necessarily need something signed, but it was David Arquette. David Arquette, Deputy Dewey from Scream. I love Ready to Rumble. I watched, I think it was called David Arquette Can't Lose or something like that, of when he went on the wrestling circuit for a while. Former WCW World Heavyweight Champion David Arquette. So it was cool to have met him. Always been a fan of his for a long time. Been in a ton of stuff I like. I forgot it was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So yeah, I mean, he's been in a good bit of stuff. So just wanted to get a photo with him. It was really cool to do so. I was gonna consider asking him to do an intro, but the way it was kind of set up, and I had already felt like I was so excited to get Carlo and Patrick, and I was like, do I want to attempt to do this? Everybody else was kind of moving. You know, I kind of read the vibe of the situation where everybody's like, like, I was like, based on the way it was set up, could I maybe, but I was like, no, we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna take the picture. But also I was getting tired, my foot was hurting. You know, it's a full day if you want to get all the people you want to get. It is a full day to get to all these people. So at that point I was like, all right, I'm just happy to take the picture. That's perfectly fine. Saturday, it's 3:30, and this room is basically like Friday levels, to be honest. It is pretty chill. There's a couple lines, like Carlo has a line. A couple other people have like a little bit of a line, but for the most part, not bad at all. Oh, look, the sun is setting already. It's been a full day. We've been here since, I don't know, 11 a.m. It's coming up on 5 o'clock. The sun is setting. But no, we, as is tradition, the boy, of course, had to get a Super Bowl ring. And I'll be honest, the magnet on this one is junk. But he got the newest, which I don't even know. Did they even put these out yet? They even get these?
They did.
Did they? The newest Kansas City Chiefs ring, the one from this most recent Super Bowl, has Chief Kingdom on one side, and it's Chiefs Kingdom on one side, and Mr. Taylor Swift himself, Travis Kelce, on the other side. The crazy thing about this one is this has a magnet, which a lot of these Super Bowl ones do, a magnet where you can then see like the field on it. But this one has this, which is a pendant. And not only can you magnet and wear it as a ring, you can also take the top off and you can wear it as a necklace as well with just the top portion, which is, you know, the gaudy things that my son loves. And he would have no doubt will wear this probably both as a ring and a necklace at some point or another. So we were wrapping up. I had a little bit of money extra budgeted for really one other person, and I was looking for, there was a few people I would have considered getting, having already met like Nev would have been a must-get. I've already met her. Would have met Alec Baldwin, but the price was too high in my mind. I would have met a few other people, but their price was too high. And I went back there to the room, and there were a few people. Dean Norris, who was Hank Schrader in Breaking Bad, that I would have considered meeting. There was Alex Winter from Bill and Ted that I would have considered meeting. McKenna Grace from the new Ghostbusters movie that I considered meeting. Well, McKenna Grace was not there, and I only saw her real earlier in the day, and I was like, oh, I'll come back and get you maybe, and she was not there the rest of the day. I didn't see her the rest of the time, so couldn't get her. Dean Norris went on a break. And then my son was like, I want Tara Strong. Tara Strong, who was Harley Quinn from all the Batman Arkham games, and boy loves the Batman Arkham games. Like, he's played through those games so much and so often that I didn't realize. I kind of downplayed it a bit. I was like, I don't know if we're gonna get Tara Strong because she's voice acted a ton of stuff. But my son was like, yeah, like this is like, you know, I loved her as Harley Quinn. Like, I liked the, things. And to be honest, if he had not talked me out of the Patrick Fabian thing, he might not have been able to get it because I just lotted out this much money for, this event. And basically, this last one here was a Tara Strong autograph. So that's what we decided to get. And the boy has a nice collection of different, like, Batman autographs for his room. But he did not have Tara Strong. And she happened to have a Batman Arkham Knight thing on the table there. And that's cool because that's his thing. He's played through Arkham Knight so much. And give her credit, she did a pretty cool signature here because she signed it in the silver with his name on it, but then she did the Harley in red with the hearts in red, which I thought was really cool. And she also greeted him and told him thanks for coming as Harley Quinn. So I mean, I think he dug it. I think it was cool. All right, it's starting to get dark outside. We had a full day from a very full Saturday at Steel City Con. And man, I'll be honest, I expected the worst. And it was surprisingly easy to navigate for a Saturday that was sold out. All the people I needed to get to were no problem. Apparently, they had capped Matthew Lillard's line. He was at capacity. I didn't see anybody else that was at capacity. Just about anybody else you could have got fairly easily. There weren't any super long waits. Maybe the longest being like 25 minutes or half hour, so not too bad. I mean, only here on a Saturday, and like I said, I at worst case scenario, I was like, oh, maybe we're gonna get one person we're interested in, and got everybody with very little conflict or hassle on a Saturday that was sold out. It was surprising because they put the entire screencast over on the other side with Lillard, who apparently is a giant draw since last time. We were able to get him no problem when he was here a couple years ago. That Five Nights at Freddy's fandom's real. It's very real. Considering this is probably the most stacked card they ever had, everybody, including like Alec Baldwin, Kiefer, I mean, everybody that was like the big draw, Vecna dude, was accessible except for Lillard. Lillard was the only one that they actually capped his line. That's wild. Like, if you wanted Ralphie or the other Christmas Story kids, you could have got him no problem. You wanted the other people from Scream, including Nev Campbell, who is Scream, no problem. That's, I mean, surprising to me. Very, very surprising. And very, very interesting that they would, you just never know when you come to these. It's kind of a crapshoot. It's interesting to see what people don't have a line. There's people that I thought legitimately would have a big line the entire time that were just sitting there that I could have walked up to and got a thing with. And, you know, or they ended up going on a break and then I never saw them and it didn't work out. Some of those people I would have met, but things happen. Well, that'll do it. Back in the car now. Steel City Con, Saturday, December 2023 edition in the books. My budget is tapped. I got everybody I needed to get on this very busy, but not as busy as I expected it to be Saturday. When I heard that it was sold out, when 3-day passes were sold out, you know, I had heard, you know, I've seen times when the fire marshal's like, we got to shut this building down. There's far too many people here. And for all the draw and for the fact that it was 3-day was sold out and for the fact that Saturday was sold out, I expected it to be far worse than it actually was. It was accessible. All the people that we wanted to meet, very accessible. So I cannot complain about this Saturday, December 2023 edition of Steel City Con, because everybody we wanted to get, we could have got. Even people we didn't get that I would have considered getting. I would have considered Dean Norris. I would have considered Peter Billingsley, but then I saw what he was charging for autographs. Ralphie from Christmas Story, I would have got. Lou Diamond Phillips, I would have got a picture with. I would have had Mario sign something. Charles Martinet. I would have met all these people. Alec Baldwin. Almost everybody I had an interest in. But the money can only go so far, and it's 2 weeks to holiday. It's 2 weeks to Christmas. The money, too much money going out, not enough money coming in. That's the way Christmas rolls. But man, really, really dug this. This Steel City Con. Met a lot of cool people. Got a lot of really cool things. So that'll do it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you were new here, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And support me on Patreon like Sean Bailey did. You can do so. Link is in the description below. If you'd like to buy a t-shirt, including, look at this. Is that the holiday Tom Was Here sweatshirt? It is. It's available. It's Spreadshirt. As well as links to my eBay store, Facebook page, Instagram, TikTok, and the Pennsylvania Autograph Collectors Association. Links are in the description below. But when it comes to Steel City Con, December 2023 edition, I can officially say that my name is Tom and I was here. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe. Bye, everyone.